welcome here today, Irina. And today we have the honor to have Irina to do interview with us. And she is the senior consultant of occupation safety and health. And she's also the training manager at every company. And so welcome, Irina.
Thank you. Thank you. It's me. I'm a senior consultant right now, working for one of the big consulting companies in Russia called EveryCo. Well, it's not only represented in Russia, but also in all Middle Asia region and formal Soviet Union countries. We do some work there as well. Um, I've been working in consultancy for 4 years, and before that, for about 18 years, I was working in oil and gas industry. Uh, well, now almost 20 years, and it was big international company. And so I was working in different countries, in Russia, in UK, in Norway, in United States. So I have some international experience as well. Uh, but not only in OSH, but also as an engineer, geophysics. And then I shifted to OSH because I felt that it's very important topic, and it has to become more, let's say, informal topic, not only regulatory compliance, but something related to the safety culture, to the well-being and stuff like that. So I felt like I need to shift a little bit from the technical to this topic. So yeah,
Understood.
that's my experience.
Yeah. So, Elena, you are now part of the team working on implementing the 5Z by International Foundation of ORP culture in Zaberbashnev. It's having a comprehensive vision of us, the way to sustainable production, or like, what's your view
Yeah,
on this?
yeah, absolutely. I'm part of the team. Actually, we started the pilot project here in Russia with the international FIORP, with the international foundation, and we chose Zarubezhneft company, who was very interested in this project. This company is one of the um, Russian state oil and gas companies, but Zarubezh means international, so they are working in Russia, but also have a lot of international projects. So they work in different countries, and the management of this company, they were actually looking for some tool, for some program which will help them uh, to see the real picture of what is happening right now in different locations, in different countries, and they were looking for some let's say modern approach to this toward this information. So they were asking actually they were looking for this, and they were asking if we know any new experience in this case, if you know any new programs in this case. And the foundation came up right on time with this 5Z culture idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, and this tool, which is called 5Z, what is good in it is that it's not only about the let's say zero accidents, right? It's not only about zero environmental impact, but it has all 5 dimensions. And it helps to see the real picture in 5 dimensions. So zero accidents, zero health issues, zero environmental impact, well-being of the well-being of the employees, involvement of them, And it is very, very, mm, very precise, and it's quite easy to, um, let's say, uh, it's easy interpretation, I would say. The questionnaires, easy approach for the people who was not doing OSH.
Mm-hmm.
They just need to answer some questions which are very understandable, and
Yes.
then you get those results. So I think, and also the very important thing, that the 5Z tool has included all the important things which are happening right now in OSH worldwide. It's like a, Vision Zero concept. It's sustainable goals that United Nations has came up, right? So it's all included in this tool. So basically, I think, for the companies, like for the big technical companies, for the big, it doesn't matter which, actually, which type of company it is, but for the, even for the big, and the tool is quite universal. So it is good for the big companies, it is good for the small companies, but it's what is the main advantage is it gives management the idea about the strong points and some points for the development straight away, right? Even after the first questionnaire answering, and the first data comes up from the analysis, you can see the what is there right now, right? And then you can go into the details. You can take the weak points and look, dig deeper and see why it is like this, and what we need to do in order to improve it. So I have to say that this experience with Zarubezhneft was very, very successful, and they're really interested in the results.
Yes.
One main thing about that is, we have companies here, because I was working in consulting with many companies, and
Yes.
the companies normally very, very here are very keen mm, on the let's say industrial safety, right? It's
Yes.
about tools, safe tools, some safe machines, the design of the workplace, but not
Mm-hmm.
as much about the well-being, about the mental health, about people uh, working too much, maybe don't have enough rest and stuff like this, and
Yeah.
that it causes stress, it causes mental issues, and
Mm-hmm.
so on.
Yeah.
So this tool has shown some very, very interesting results, and the management agreed that it's time to think about it as well.
Yeah, so you think this actually provide a tool that is lower the entry barrier to understand the safety and health at work for the like the top like management team to understand and maybe some perspective that not so easy to be considered before, like the work-life balance and the mental health, right?
Absolutely, that's what I wanted to say is, um, industrial safety is very, very important. Workplace design is very, very important. But from the top management perspective, when we started discussing results of this of this report we received, they said, yeah, really, because it showed that people are. There are some issues with this topic, and they said, yeah, well, it's time to look to these issues as well from this perspective. And also this pandemic came at the same time,
Yeah.
so it was not the, I think here as well was a bit of the psychological, issues, some fears regarding this, and all these issues came up pretty well, and the impact to the mental health came up pretty well. So yeah, so for the result of this, top management of this company said that it is very, very useful, interesting, and it's time to think and do something regarding this issue as well.
Yeah. So you mentioned the tour, and do you think that having software that can help the company to implement like prevention risk in and having big data and real-time data would help this manage this better, or what do you think? Do you think it's feasible to implement new technology on prevention risk, or do you think we still have a long way to go to there?
Well, personally, from what I saw and from what I hear from my clients, uh, it is time for something like that to be available, like a big data, like software that can be used. Of course, later, uh, well, let me say that at the beginning, if we want to understand the situation, this tool is very, very good, right? And then we can, as I said, we can go deeper. We can see we see the dimensions, what is better, what is worse, and then we can dig deeper and maybe invite some, experts on one of the topics, right? But the real-time data, the software that we can use and see what's happening, to monitor what's happening, I think it's really time for it, because I had so many questions. How we going to understand what's happening right now? Is it only still only the, if you heard, Bradley curve, but it's, it's a big audit. It is very, very good tool, but
Sorry.
yeah, it's okay. But it still has, it takes a lot of time to do. And we are now in our world, we're really keen on the, to receive data fast, or to use data fast, and to do something with it. And especially in this pandemic time, well, I have to say that the possibility to do it online, all the process online, and to see the real results online without we're communicating very, very often, and we were always communication is important topic, but we could do it without physically going and doing stuff, and we received very good results. And it is I have to say it's true results, because later we talked with the experts in this. Well, basically there was research for three companies within this Zarubezhneft, and then later on we talked to the experts who is there all the time and said, when you saw the results, is it what you were expected? They said, yeah, more or less, it was what we see, but not always we had the possibility to convince management that the issue is there. And now with this software, with this report, we can say, look, it's not only our opinion, it's what
What
other
data
experts
shows?
tell you. Yeah.
Yeah. So you provide like more like competency and trust to what
Yeah,
your
yeah.
suggestion like a base. So you have
Well,
mentioned,
go
sorry.
ahead. Go
Like
ahead.
you have mentioned that how COVID had influenced that the way you collaborate with the company, and so what's like the specific thing, like except like all the online conference you have done the in this COVID process, and what do you think is essential to share about this disseminate of in health and safety with the energy sector and its environmental impact?
Well, COVID definitely affected, I think, everyone
Yeah.
in the world, and uh, if we talk about the energy sector companies like Zarubezhneft, where we're working very closely, well, they had a lot of challenges, and the main challenge was to, they work in, well, in different areas, but they working in the, for example, they working up north in Russia, above the polar circle, and people work in shifts there.
Yes.
They and mm, When this pandemic came, COVID came, it was a huge challenge for them to keep those people isolated, but also safe in this area, because it's quite remote, it's difficult to access, and so they basically put a lot of efforts, and they talked to people and who was there on site at the moment, and they asked them,
Mm-hmm.
everyone personally, if they can stay for 60 days before they organize the safe exchange procedure, because it's, people had to stay 2 weeks isolated. They coming to this, basically to this area, staying 2 weeks
Yes.
isolated, and only then they can go to the oil field without any risks to bring something to people there. So all this was very, very difficult. It's remote location. They had to
Mm-hmm.
put their food, water, everything, so they can stay for 60 days without any access before they organize everything.
Mm-hmm.
And people understood. All have to say, all the workers said yes, we will stay. But then, it's difficult. But it's mental issues
Yes.
coming. They stay isolated. 60 days is very long. It's not a very nice area to live, right? Because it's
Yeah.
a tundra,
Mm-hmm.
and snow everywhere. Nothing else. But also they have families worried
Yeah.
a lot about them, right? They have some employees in the cities. So what they did, they organized all this, physical, technical things to solve this, to organize
Mm-hmm.
safe shifting procedure. They also presented their own companies' psychological help and medical help, because at the beginning, for example, in Moscow, it was all ambulances, I think it's everywhere, they were overloaded.
Yes.
If you get sick, you cannot, I mean, you have to wait quite a lot before your turn for the medics to come. Medics are overloaded, and
Yes.
so they organize their own medical service to help,
Mm-hmm.
and psychological service to the families.
Mm-hmm.
So the people on site is not worried about families, because the family is taken care of, and the
Mm-hmm.
families know that everything fine there. So it was quite an issue, but they
Mm-hmm.
managed to do it 2 months, reorganize everything.
That sounds really nice. They like even consider and including the family when they meant this like 2 month shift. I could
Yeah,
imagine how hard it was because I was confined here in Spain. There was a lockdown for 55 days. Here the weather is much better, I think, than there in the site, but it's still like it's very very tough, so I can imagine, and I think the company has done a great effort to um,
yeah, it was
manage this. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it was challenging, but they did well, and I think it was showing some. It was showing a lot of. It all starts from the, I think, management commitment and leadership everywhere. All the issues, and if they put a lot of push, then it will happen. So in this case, I have to say it was one of the best performances towards COVID-19, because I know in other sectors there were issues when, for example, COVID is coming on site in some remote location and everyone gets sick at the same time. It was big issues to solve those problems, because we have, mining, for example, or something like this. Also,
Yes.
people are working quite remote and
Mm-hmm.
difficult to reach. So yeah, so this experience was pretty good. Um,
You so you
uh,
as
yeah.
you mentioned that how like because in the pandemic that we understand how family could influence our work, and also the family as the same, like they understand more about our work as well. And so what do you think like the management team can do better to include the family when they consider the health and safety of the work of the employees? Like, is that like the commitment you just said? And what else do you think is like very important on this?
Well, I can tell from my experience that uh, the family actually for the safety is very important for the industry. I have to say, um, uh, before every worker understands that the safety culture and the safety is for him or her is very important. It's not only for his or her employee thing. Uh, it will not work, right? Every one of us has to understand the importance of it for them. Basically, every person needs to go home every night, right, and see the family. And sometimes they become strange at work. Basically, the person issued with personal protective equipment, with some tools, has some instructions, safe instructions, and for some reasons they don't use it, right? They say we did it many times, nothing happens, and so on. And then something happens, and we start investigation and see and cannot understand why it happened, why the person has been provided with everything, and still
Mm-hmm.
the accident happened. It's
Yeah.
one of the things. So in this case, family is a very strong. I have to say, tool that can help
Influence.
employers from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you from my experience that in one company I worked with this international company, we has developed voluntarily. It was not our job, but we has developed what is called the OSH for Kids course, and we started to invite kids of our employees to make like a family day,
Mm-hmm.
invite them, make some plays. We played with them, we did some funny things, and then we explained the topics, for example, road safety, some environmental things,
Mm-hmm.
waste management and so on. But it was like a play, all the different topics. And then but we explained the basic rules and so on. It was on volunteers, and we went to schools in the area we were presented, and so on. And then I started as a OSH manager, receiving calls
Yes.
from my employees saying, "What did you do?" Now I'm sitting in a car, and this little boy or girl behind me says, "Father, we're not going anywhere before you put your seatbelt." Something like this. So information is coming from the kids, right? And father says, "Now I cannot not put the seatbelt on." So even at
Mm-hmm.
home, even and then it
Yeah.
started to be a safe habit. So yeah, so we use not use we I think the management can build this stronger relation towards
With
safety if they involve families more. And it is
yes,
very, yeah.
definitely it's a very innovation way and a very empathetic and caring to include the family. And yeah, I think this is a great way to implement the policies.
Yeah, and it's stronger. You start, they start feeling that it's not only employer who doesn't care about them, just do your job, get your money and go. It's more like building this is what is called building, same culture, the company culture. And
Hmm.
I think it works pretty well. And I have to say it works pretty well in the different countries with a different, mentality or
Cultures.
so.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so you have like a lot of working experience in heavy industry, like energy sector. And do you think this kind of industry, because it involves of a lot of material pr production process that influence the environment, do you think they bear more responsibility to care about the sustainability issue, or do you think it's the other way around?
Well, when I started more than 20 years ago, have to say that was not not that much focus on the environment in the heavy industry, and it was a pity, and it was very very sad situation. Now, I have to say that it is very very strong push. It is strong push from the all the international point of view, from the governmental point of view, and also it is understanding in the companies that only company that cares about the impact on the environment has will have the sustainable future. It is now, it's clear, I mean, I have to say. And especially in energy sector, especially in oil and gas sector, it's I have to say it's in 20 years it's a huge development towards that. And it is very very important, and because the impact is actually very very big, huge. So it's you can see it from the point of the technical design of the tools, the methodologies they now use. For example, in oil and gas, they recycle the drilling fluids which are going inside of the well. Before that, they were wasting it. Basically, it was taken out and it was, everywhere around the oil field. Now they collect it, recycle it, use it again, and then the debris are safely stored, right? So it's all changing pretty much. And the only companies who is putting a lot of efforts and on this matter, they go on. I see so many companies that are no longer exist,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like 2 3 years they were trying to get as much profit as possible in these 2 3 years without thinking anything else. Now they
Mm-hmm.
don't exist anymore. So it's from my personal experience in oil and gas sector. And yeah, well, it's regulatory and it's also internally in the companies. There is a big focus on the environment.
Yeah, so it's not just about all the pressure of the international and all the regulation, but also it's about like this is a way to help company to be sustainable and keep working in this sector, right? So that's why they have to care about environmental issues. So,
Absolutely, that's what I'm. Yeah, it's better. They understand even now. They calculate everything. It's better to recycle and reuse again than to buy again and again and again. So they're changing technologies. the changing tools they're using. They care about how they manage their wastes, right? Separate and everything. So if company wants to be sustainable, they will have to care about it, not only from the regulatory point of view, but I'm also glad that the regulatory point of view, is also much harder now. So yeah, sustainability is an
Yes.
important thing, and it is not possible without the caring of these environmental issues.
Yes. So Elena, for you, like professionally, what do you think is like the challenge for you in 2021? Consider we are in a very special time.
Yeah, well, 2020 was a very, very challenging thing, right? And as I'm in consultancy business, it was for us very challenging to, not to lose the business when everyone is isolated and at home. How to, be more digital, become more digital, how to do interesting training courses online when you cannot really see people and interact with them directly. So it was very, very challenging. So I have to say, and it's still going on. So we had to learn a lot of new programs, new approaches, as a new way of presenting information. So for me, it was quite, interesting year in terms of how many new things I learned
Yeah.
uh, about for example, online trainings. Anyway, so in 2021, I think the big challenge will be uh, that we're all slowly going out again, right?
Yeah.
See, we're slowly going back to the direct communications, right? And
So you
how to
think
say,
it's like to find a balance between the hybrid mode, like maybe partial online and partial in person
yeah,
would be like
yeah.
the challenge.
What I feel, yeah, it was exactly what I wanted to say. Is for me the big challenge right now. I don't think it will come back completely to the all face-to-face
Yeah.
trainings and everything. So now, for me, it will be the big challenge to find this balance in this, let's say, hybrid way of doing business, right? So, but yeah, well. I think it's really interesting year going on, and we are going to. I hope it will be very, very successful in terms of business and how we do stuff. And of course, I'm hoping that we all finally meet at some point.
Yes.
We'll be able
Uh,
to do each other personally. I really hope
exactly.
for
I
it.
I hope like we can meet some like at some point in the future, yeah, after this pandemic and back to in-person interaction
Yeah,
more
after
than
one.
now. Yeah. Thank you very
Yeah.
much for your time today, Elena. It was very, very insightful, and thank you for your sharing. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It was very, very interesting conversation with you. Thank you.